Alright guys, so there's a few things that we are gonna need to polish. First of all, we're gonna get right into the sanding. So we are gonna use a 2000 grit 3M wet sanding paper, okay? That's to get rid of any orange peel, and you'll see why. We're also gonna use 2500 grit. That is a finer grit. This will get rid of any scratches that this makes to the fuel tank. It's a very patient and slow process, but you'll see the difference why it goes to that level, which is show quality. You're gonna need a soft pad because your fuel tank is not straight. It does have curves, so you need something that bends and is able to go over those curves. You're gonna need some shop towels. You'll be having to dry up your fuel tank and noticing where you're sanding, making sure that you don't sand anywhere you don't want to. So it's good to always have your shop towels to dry up your surface in the area that you're working on. Your wax and gum, this is the Spanish version, you'll need that. So when we get into the polishing stage, we are going to use 3 types of pads, 1, 2, 3, which go with their each compound. So the first stage is your rubbing compound, okay? It tells you right there, number 1, that's your white pad. Stage 2, machine polish, that's this pad, and you see the color as well. Stage 3, ultra fine machine polish. You'll see the difference as you polish and as you go. You got to be very careful that you don't burn through your clear, because then you got to start all over again, and you don't want to do that. So let's get right into it, guys, and we'll see you. All right guys, so we're gonna get into the sanding portion. This is a Harley Davidson Sportster fuel tank, and as you can see, it's a really nice paint job. This is where I come in. We're gonna sand it down. We're gonna get rid of all the orange peel, like, which is, you know, kind of wavy, like that's all around your tank. If you get close enough, you'll be able to see. What we're gonna do, we're gonna sand it, smooth it out. We're gonna use our paper grit, which is 2000 and then 2500. We're gonna sand the whole tank, and then we're gonna polish it. So stick around and check it out. Okay guys, so now we're gonna get into the sanding. I've already folded and soaked my paper. Your paper, you want to soak it for at least 15 minutes. This is my 2000 grit, making sure that my water is also clean. You don't want to have any debris on it, because if you do, it will show, and you don't want that. Now, as you start sanding, you want to go back and forth and in circular motion. You want to be careful where you're sanding. You don't want to get too far, you don't want to get too crazy either. If you can see, there are some waves right on this middle. You don't want to go over too much, because you will break through, and that will ruin everything. You're gonna have to start all over. Switch out the sides that you're working on your paper. So if you're working on this side, switch it. Also apply even pressure so that you can get a nice clean sand. All right guys, so we've already started our sanding, and as you can see, we've kind of gotten rid of some of the layer of clear, our first layer, and you can tell that our orange peel like is coming off. We are getting some smoother areas, but we do have to quite still work. We're not gonna sand all the way down. You want to be careful with that. Most of this bottom part will not show, so you want to get down you want to go as far down as you can, not too far, and work your way through. If you see some imperfections, you want to get rid of those. Be careful you don't burn through your clear. We're just gonna continue and sand the whole first layer down. Okay guys, so we finally completed our 2000 grit sanding. Now I'm gonna clean it with the wax and gum degreaser, and I will show you what it does. And so basically it cleans it out. You're gonna get rid of any smudges, any debris that's on there. So what you're gonna be able to see is any pinholes, anywhere that you already missed. Now we can see that we have a pinhole here and another one right there. And what we want to do now is continue sanding, but we're gonna move on to our 2500 grit sandpaper. That way we don't burn through this clear and onto our paint. So now we're gonna move on to the polishing portion. So basically I've already sanded my tank down. It's been sanded, and I did both 2000 and 2500 grit, and I have all my materials ready here. My compound, my buffer with the pads that I need. And the way we're gonna do this is going in sections. You don't want to do the whole tank in one take. You want to go portions at a time. You don't want your rubbing compound to dry up on you. So we're just gonna go each sections at a time. Okay, so quick tip, what I like to do is I always keep a microfiber towel in hand and I check my work. The reason why is because I don't want to burn through my clear and I want to see where I'm at. This looks pretty good. It looks like I need some work down here on this corner, but up here it looks pretty decent. It looks more fair. So if you can tell, there's work that needs to be done right there, versus up here it looks a lot better. Alright guys, so this is basically what your end product should look like. As you can see, it's all nice and black and shiny. But psych, we're not done yet. We've only done half. Now, that's what your end product should look like before moving on to step 2 and 3. If you do have any haze on it, you still have a ways to go. As you can see, you know the difference between polishing it and when it's sanded. So we're gonna continue on and stay tuned for the end product. Completed the stage 1 of the polish, and now we're ready to move on to stage 2. As you can see, everything has been polished up, and so now we're ready to move on. It's gonna shine pretty well. Stay tuned for stage 3 and we'll see how the end result looks. Tank has been fully polished. It went through its sandpaper of 2000, 2500 grit. We polished it with our rubbing compound and then our machine polish, and this is what you get. This is Luis with Rush Bikes. Thanks for watching.